What's happening with you? This is the Roy C. Gilmore podcast, where real don't get no realer and it don't come with a filter. I am your host, Roy C. Gilmore. Dog, today I have a very special guest. This young lady is gonna be telling us her witchcraft experience with a warlock. Y'all tune in. Just tell me and whoever's listening your name and where you're from.
Okay, my name is Precious. I go by Pre. I'm from Georgia.
And begin from the top. How did y'all meet?
So I was just getting out of a situation that I had been in for like 3 years. And at that time I had started working this job and he was there, and he was the type of dude that like all the girls were just going crazy over him because he was a nice looking dude. He was always by himself, and he was very quiet. So, and like I noticed that everybody was all over him, but I'm the type of person that really don't do nothing for me, like how you look and all of that stuff. Like I'm really not head over heels like that about how a person look. I'm really more so about who they are versus that. It really just didn't faze me. I didn't pay him no mind or at all, and I think that probably is what turned him on. I was the only one that was not doing all of this. One night he would help me through the night too, like if it was a box that was too heavy, because I'm a small person. I probably was smaller then, so he would come and help me and stuff, and like if they see that I'm falling asleep, he would come. So one day I had got like an inbox on Facebook. And at that time, I didn't even know that should have been a red flag, because the only thing now to this day that I'm thinking of how he found my Facebook was the fact that I probably was asleep and he took my name off the tag. Because how else would you have found me? So right. I get this message request. It's like 3-4 in the morning, and he was just saying all this stuff, and he was just like, I really would like to get to know you and all this stuff like that. So at this point, I really started going to the job just to see him. Like at this point, I had done checked out this job and everything. So we started to like hang out and stuff, and he was telling me that he was separated. And see, I don't really know nothing about married men and all them terms and stuff. So like in my mind, if you tell me you separated from somebody, I'm thinking that y'all are just done, no longer together. Like it wasn't until recent until I really realized that people are still married when they say that they're separated. So I was just going through the motion with him. It felt good, and I just got this relationship with this dude, and I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe God just sent me my husband. Like, I done went through all this stuff. Maybe he just done sent me my little knight in shining armor. So I'm so caught up in this man. At this time, like, this gonna sound so bad, but at this time, the dude that I was leaving was actually at my aunt's house watching my kids while I was working. But he had assumed that something was going on anyway, because I had like multiple phones, and he would like all my notifications would be going to the other phone, but it really wasn't nothing like that. He ended up leaving in between us getting serious. So I was really in just a vulnerable state. Like I just was very open, and I feel like that's...
Quick question, not to cut you off, but when you say you had multiple phones, why you had multiple phones? I ain't trying to investigate, but just from
it's the strangest thing, because my kids, I would buy tablets and stuff, they would break them. Then like when I'm upgrading, I just keep my phones. I never got rid of them, and I just let them play with them and stuff. And at this time, it was just one of them phones that was still connected to my cloud. I never just sign out. I just give them my phone and let them play on it. Anything really to just keep them occupied. So I had like two. It was my newer phone I had and the old phone. And the old phone would be the phone I would leave with the kids, while I'm working. Because one of them had a tablet at the time, and one of them had broke theirs. So in between me getting another one, I just let them use the phone.
Okay.
So yeah, so I didn't even realize that that's what he was doing, but he was assuming that it was something at that time it wasn't. But he had already like left around this time, but that's kind of what led up to that. So I would always hang out with him and stuff like that, and then it started to get serious. And then when I would see him, I would actually be seeing him at his ex-wife's sister house. So in my mind, I'm thinking, for the sister to let me come over here, it had to be something that her sister did for this relationship to end, because ain't no way somebody ex-sister-in-law is letting them date another woman. That's how my mind was at the time. I'm only 24, so I don't really have much experience, because for a woman, they probably would have been like, that's too much to deal with. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Because really, she could have popped up at any time if it was on some, I'm trying to save my marriage type stuff, and I'm sleeping over there. Then my sister, they live like 2 exes up the road, so I would keep my kids over there. They would be really close, and I would just go over there at night, or maybe go home in the morning to get them to daycare and stuff like that. So I met him at that job, and then like after we started getting serious, I noticed that he had stopped coming to work, which was a second red flag, because in the midst of him leaving, I really don't know what he was doing, because I didn't even have a phone number for him. I would be writing him through Messenger. He never gave me a phone number up front. Like, it took a minute, and then he gave me the phone number. So I was like so caught up in that I wasn't even thinking like, dang, you can't even reach him. If you need to reach him, you got to talk to him on Messenger. It's like, it took for me to get out of the situation in order to really see all the things that was wrong. So I met him at that job, and then after that, it just started to spiral.
With you said that you were at his wife's sister house, right?
Yeah.
And she never asked you, like, who are you? Anything like that?
We actually had conversations. My kids had went to play with her kids. It was like a play day type thing. It was like she was getting to really just have a relationship with me too. It's like she would say little stuff her sister was doing, because apparently the situation was they liked him so much that they told him that she was starting to entertain the baby daddy again from her first 2 boys that she had, because him and her left Florida to come up to Georgia, where her family was and where she was from. So if the sister is telling me all these bad things she doing, now that's painting his picture to be even better for me, because I'm like, okay, he was honest. Like, he wasn't the one in the wrong, she was, and that's how my mind was taking it, because the sister would speak to me. I would even be over there when he wasn't. Like, he would be working still at night. I get off before him. I would go over there, get, relax and stuff, to wait on him to come and stuff like that. So I never really found anything wrong with it in the moment, until everything started to fall down.
What was the third red flag?
The third red flag, I would say, let me see. The third red flag was one of the holidays was coming up, and he was like, he didn't want to spend that holiday with me. You could tell that he had somewhere he had to be. And my grandmother was actually dying from cancer, but in the moment, it was so much going on with that, I didn't even realize that was what was going on with her. This actually had, I met him in October. So Thanksgiving and Christmas was crazy, because for Thanksgiving, that was my grandma's last Thanksgiving being alive, and he wanted to go to Texas to meet his nephew for the first time. He got a rental. I never asked about the rental or anything. So, I went to like the little outlet. I was giving me and my kids some stuff, because I always made sure that they had what they needed and stuff, but I wanted to look nice meeting his family. So I thought I was going to be meeting his family. So, I had went up to Texas with him. We checked into the hotel, and then when we checked into the hotel, I'm just strolling on Facebook and looking at everybody with their family, eating their food and stuff, and we just stuck in the hotel room. We didn't see him until like 6 the next morning. Like, we were stuck in a hotel room in a whole nother state that we didn't know. That was the first. He would disappear a lot. So he disappeared on that holiday, and then on Christmas, he told me that he couldn't spend Christmas with me because he hadn't seen his daughter, which is the one he told me the only child he had. He hadn't seen her in over a year, and that their family had flew her out to Atlanta, and he disappeared again. And then it came up that she hadn't even seen him, so he would disappear a lot.
So were y'all official at this time, or were y'all still
I would say we was official, because every day I would be with him, like every day. And I would say we was official. At least I thought we was.
But when did you notice, or when did you start feeling like he was putting witchcraft or anything on you like that?
Okay, so I'm just gonna say this because I usually don't talk like this, but that's what kept me in the situation, because when I had got intimate with him, I had never had it was never like that with nobody else. There was a connection, and then on top of that, it was just like the stuff he would say while we was being intimate, like, I got your soul in a jar, and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, in my mind, I was like, okay, that made me feel like receipt. It's weird, because when people say stuff to you when you having sex with them and stuff, you be wanting them to say crazy stuff. At least I'm just like, hey, okay, whatever you say. If you say you got my soul in a jar, I ain't even about to go see what that mean. hey, it's what it is. But after that, like, I'm sorry, I started to, it wasn't until I really started to get spiritual. He brought me to being spiritual because I had no relationship with God before that because I was on a cult. So being through that, I was mad at God. At this point, I was just doing what I wanted to do. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do what I want to do. And I had a Jamaican friend that was giving me insight. He was like, he said that. He was like, that's witchcraft. He was like, do he wear beads and stuff on his arm? Like, my friend was like, it was a blessing to have him because he was actually my shoe plug, and he was around me a lot through that, and we worked together at my previous job. So I would be telling him the stuff that the dude was telling me because he's actually like Jamaican too, but I would say he's more cultured into it and all of that. So I was just going back telling him stuff, and he was like, friend, I don't know about this dude. He said, because he was like, that, that's witchcraft. And I really just had my nose in the air. Like, I never thought like it was anything. I'm just thinking, he just talking. And he was telling me, like, do he wear beads? He was just trying to give me insights and stuff. And I was like, nah, I see him wear a few, but like not really like that and stuff like that. So my friend had to tell me that it was witchcraft. And then he was telling me, like, when I was a kid, I seen a doll like flip across the yard, like a baby doll. And I was like, I don't know. I started to really, really realize that, okay, something ain't right. Like, even my spirit started to be bothered with it. So I started to like do my research then.
So you said that it sounded like you said that you were in a cult. You said you didn't believe in God. You was in a cult.
Mm-hmm.
What cult were you in?
It's weird because the church is Church of God. That's like a common name. They don't have a denomination. It was easy for me to get in this cult, and I classified it as a cult because I saw a lot of people fall away from it, and I did notice that it was a lot of young people there. Young people, we naive, we don't know the Bible, so it's easy to study something and present it to somebody after you done studied it, and you make it seem like it is what it is, and they taught God the mother. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, God said everything that's up there in heaven is a copy and shadow. So if we have a mother and a father that create a family on earth, then it got to be the same in heaven. So that's what really pulled me in, because they really elaborate on that verse. And then it's actually a living God. Like, she's in Korea, South Korea, I think. So we would be in church all day on Saturday. We didn't go on Sunday. It was no denominations. It was a lot of people, white people, black people, Hispanic, all type of people, and they didn't want you to leave at all while you was at the church. You ate at the church, you did everything at the church that day. People would like come in off of their jobs. They really teach no working or doing nothing on Saturday. We just study, and it's confusing because for a moment I thought it was Jehovah's Witness, because we would knock on people's door too. We would knock on people's door, and we would buy books. We would keep like the feast. We would keep the Feast of Tabernacle. We would keep Passover. We did all of those, like everything in the Old Testament. We was doing it, and then you had to cut off all, like, anything that you had planned for yourself in the world. You had to cut all of it off. You really was just focusing on dying and going to heaven. People had like the stuff in their house. If the end came, they really just was teaching the end of the world. It was a scary thing to be involved in, because it's like I had dreams and things and goals and stuff I wanted to do, but they was like, you got to be done with all of that. You have to fully focus on the church. So I was in that for a while, and it started some problems in the family because some of my family was against it, and that's my favorite uncle. So I feel that I can trust you with my life, almost like if you tell me something and I feel like it's right, I'm gonna go for it, because you like the father figure in my life. I couldn't see you taking me down the wrong path. So that's why it was so easy for me. But a lot of people would have thought that his wife took him there, because the lady is Korean, his wife is Korean, but in all reality she didn't. One of his friends had told him about it, and it went from there, and I just followed.
So what was the name of the god or goddess that I guess they worshiped?
It was a Korean name. hold on, because it was some years ago. I want to say it started with an A. And I couldn't even pronounce it when I was in the church, because they hardly ever said it was considered to be, sacred. So we really, and then it was weird because like a lot of people would come to that church, like, because they telling you like you going to heaven, you got to go save your family, and a lot of them people family didn't believe it when they brought them there, so they would be arguing, and being escorted out. It was a lie. It was a lie. It was dang.
Because
it was long too, and it's not even in the, well, of course it's not in the Bible, but I mean it started with an A.
A. First thing come to mind is Ashura. There was another one. It was a spirit that caused women to have miscarriages, but people still worship the spirit to get pregnant and things like that. Okay, the name of the demon was abusive. Does that sound familiar? Okay.
I'm gonna try my best to find that name, because it wasn't one that you could really like. They have to tell you, and it was very rare that we said it. It was very rare. Really like at Passover and stuff like that. I'm hoping this church, because a lot of people, it has been growing. Like, it's like in this church, the women can't sit with the men. The women have to sit on one side, the men have to sit on one side, and the kids have to be with the kids, and the women have to tie their heads up with a veil.
So I've had my own experience with witchcraft in the church, which is why I don't go to church. I was born, a pastor laid hands on my mother while she was pregnant with me and told her that I'd be born saved. And my connection with God has been strong since I can remember. I don't recall ever being normal. So I've never felt called to go to a church, because my connection with God was strong since I can remember, even now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I go to God for everything. Like, if I meet a new person, I'm going to God first. If I'm going to buy a vehicle, I'm going to ask God, is this vehicle for me? So I mean, I don't need a church to tell me how to live my life and how to build my relationship with God. In the church that I was going to, they was trying to teach me how to build a relationship with God. And it's like, I ain't so high and mighty that I can't be taught, but you're not finna tell me how to talk to God when, he didn't. I have war stories myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? God done brought me through multiple things. So ain't nobody that wasn't there with me finna tell me how to pray and how to do this and do that. My nigga, I done been there, done that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If anything, I can teach you something, you feel me?
Right. And see, my grandmother, I grew up a lot with her. And see, I'm naturally a scary person. So they'll alone tell you that, like, the gift that's within you, I look at that like it has to be something big, because the devil will put that spirit on you and you could never carry out what you're really supposed to do. Because a lot of people mistake my grandmother for a witch. But I lived with her. I knew she wasn't a witch. She was a healer. She could lay hands on people. And the stories she have told me and the things she have saw, it really did not help with my walk. It made me even more afraid, because I started to see stuff at her, like on her porch, when I was like, because I was there like from middle school through high school, like, and if my grandmother laid hands on you and she prayed something off of you, I wouldn't see her for days, because she in her room trying to fight it off. Whatever she done prayed out of a person, she would be down for like days. And I'd be like, dang, and just to be right there to see her. Like, my grandma died of cancer, but the mechanic that she had, daughter had cancer, and my grandmother prayed for that little girl, and it just showed up. I mean, my
grandmother was like that too. My whole family was. I come from a family of prophets and prophetess and healers and things like that. So I done seen all that demons get called out of people. That's why I tell folks, man, I ain't never had a normal childhood. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what normal is, because at the early age I was seeing demons get called out of people. You know what I'm saying?
His name, because it's been like 18. Hold on. It's been about 12 or 13 years since I've not had nothing to do with it, and I try to not remember it because it was so traumatic. Like, and then I even let one of my kids get baptized there, and that's the kid that's very prophetic. He knows God. He's only 11. He knows so much about God that I know I didn't teach him, and he's very troubled too. And he was the only kid that I had got baptized there, because when I did get away from them, one of them saw me in the store and led me right back to the church. And I was like, I just felt like I had to be there.
But maybe it's God's way of protecting you and protecting me from not saying that name. Did you read Psalms 109 for Cattle?
Yep.
Do you know why I told you to read that?
No, I was reading it and I was like, ooh, I had never read, Psalms is my favorite book. I have never read that before.
That shit hardcore, ain't it?
Yeah, I was like, ooh, well, it was getting worse and worse and worse.
So Psalms 109 is a protection prayer.
Great. I'm glad, because it wasn't until I stumbled across your page, I just think you was in my algorithm, that witchcraft started to come up a lot for me. And I knew that it was God, because I started to feel things. Like, I work from home, so I would feel things breathing on me. I would start to see dark figures. I saw a rat that I know wasn't there. I know it wasn't there. And it's the way he reacted when I told him that I saw it. It was like a that's what you get type moment for him. But I'm telling you, I just saw something run across the floor, and and God was with me when that happened, because he was telling me what to go to the internet and type in. When I typed in what he was saying, it was like you could see snakes, like dark figures, rats. That was really the first one that popped up. Then he took me to a video on YouTube that was telling me it was a monitoring spirit. Yep. So he was leading me. I was like, I ain't never heard of no monitoring spirit. So, and after I did that, I felt the presence again behind me, and then I had started having I never had headaches. When I got with this man, I stayed having headaches, the type of headaches where I couldn't really pick my head up, and it's like I could feel the presence of things around me. And he started to operate different. He started burning sage. I felt like I couldn't breathe, and he would say stuff like, "That's what it's supposed to do. I want you out of here." But really, I knew there was just a spirit within him, like, because I never knew. Like, God just started putting stuff in front of me about witchcraft, and I was just like, somebody around me is trying to put witchcraft on me, or probably already has attempted to. And then it didn't help with the little sayings and stuff he was saying and telling me he knew these different things and what he could do to me and all this stuff. So I had to try to educate myself. And even in that, I think I had got that book about demonic. It's a very popular book, and I think the man that wrote it is African. Demonic covenants, or breaking the demonic something. And I really saw how deep witchcraft go, and I was really blown away, because I didn't know it was like that. Like, I didn't know it was like that. So it's like I didn't really have no spiritual guidance, because the devil really played with my mind a lot. A lot of times I feel like I allowed him to, because I didn't really know who I was and what I'm supposed to be doing. But it wasn't until like I got with this man that I realized like my purpose was bigger than what I could ever imagine, and it's probably things I'm not even mentioning, because like just coming from my regular mind and thinking like it don't even make sense. Like, if you're not spiritually grounded, a lot of things just go over your head, and then when you get there, you go back and be like, dang, okay, now that makes sense why this happened, or what this was. And then my baby started to see, he would tell us to turn the light on in the kitchen every night, because his granddaddy was coming to the table with a cigar every night. And he saw him in there. Like, my youngest can see stuff. He's 6, but at the time, he couldn't talk. And clear as day, I heard him, though, when he said, he was pointing at the windows, and he was like, something is coming, mama, something is coming. When he told me that, I gathered all of them up and ran in my room and just turned the light on and stayed in there till the next day, because the moment he said that, the presence of the house turned evil. It was off. And I was like, how did he say that? He ain't even talking. Like, I heard him clear as day. But spiritually, what he was saying was coming was, me and his dad was apart. And after he told me that, his dad came back into my life, and all hell broke loose. Like, I nearly hit rock bottom. So God used my kids for a lot of stuff too, and I feel like it's hard for me to I'm really like nervous to walk in my true calling, because I already done seen so much being outside of the will of God. So just imagine when I step into the will of God and start doing what he's calling me to do. Like, just imagine,
I ain't even gonna sit here and tell you, well, I ain't gonna tell you not to be scared, but I will tell you this, that you will be protected. Now, just because you're protected don't mean that you won't see shit. If anything, you'll see more when you are protected.
Yeah.
The witchcraft shit I went through, man, it was a lot, but I had been seeing demons way before then. My very first time seeing a demon was at my auntie's house. I was like 8, maybe 9. Well, that was my first time. Well, I'll take that back. That was my first time physically seeing one. My auntie, I really want to interview her, but she in the church, and I have to hunt her down. But man, she got some stories for that ass, boy. But she, her and her friend, my mother's boyfriend, had dropped me and my little brother off at her house. And we go into the house, and one side of the house is lit and the other half is pitch black dark. So we enter the house, enter the side that's lit, and when we come in, she says, "Get behind me, baby, get behind me." And she says, "Go in the room." And, you know, it's her and her friends shouting and throwing oil on the other side of the house saying, "Come out, come out." And we children, we don't know what's going on. And she just keep telling us to close the door. And children gonna be children, man. We ain't just listen to a fucking thing she said. We peeked outside of the door, man, and there is this, I will never forget it, man. There was this black shadow with glowing red eyes. It peeked around the freaking door like this right here to where you can see it. It peeked around and then it did this right here. And the lady was like, I see it. And they just throwing oil trying to cast it out. Man, I saw that and almost shit it. I saw that shit and almost shit it. I looked at my little brother, and I may get him on and interview him as well, but I looked at my little brother, I was like, what the hell was that? And he was like, I want to go home. So we trying to call my mama, but my mama didn't have no car. Right. So, and she was just like, I'll come get you in the morning. And we like, hell no, come get her now. You know what I'm saying? Something in this motherfucker. But we just sat in there. Me and my little brother, we closed the door, and eventually they got the thing out. My auntie comes in the room, she gets in the bed, and she goes to fucking sleep like nothing happened.
Oh my God.
Me and my little brother stayed up all fucking night. Fuck. And to this day, when I talk to her about that, she just laugh about it because she been doing it so long. Yeah, to that ain't shit for her, man. She done seen people levitate.
For real?
Yeah. She done seen people so fucking ate up with legions of demons that they do supernatural shit. She done seen people levitate. She done seen people freaking do like this right here and knock over chairs and flip shit over. All the shit that you see on TV, she done seen a lot of that, man. And it's like, whenever people say that demons ain't real and witchcraft ain't real, I can't help but chuckle. I can't help but chuckle because them be the main ones that have it going on in their life and they don't even know.
Don't even know it.
You know what I'm saying? You wonder why, you can't keep a job. You wonder why every relationship you get in fail. You wonder why you keep fucking headaches and you depressed all the time. Because somebody close to you putting that shit on you and you don't even believe it. The people that are the easiest to manipulate with witchcraft are the ones that believe that it do not exist.
Right. And see, he would tell me stuff that will manifest in my life. Like, it would be little hateful stuff. Like, with my car, he would be like, you won't have it long. Or he'll say little stuff like he had made a comment like that. And that's when I really started to believe that he was something. I just realized what a warlock was. I was like, because when he told me this certain thing about my car, like not even a month later, I fell asleep behind the wheel of my car and something woke me up. Like, it happened. Every car I get, I always fall asleep behind the wheel of it. It's like the enemy be just trying to take me out because I always be in my car. So he had told me something was gonna happen with my car and I fell asleep. And then I started to get into it and go to God about it. Like, how can he have that type of power over me that every time he say something, like, it started to manifest? So when he saw my car, he was like, oh, what happened to your car? Like, all nonchalant. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, you the reason it happened, So it's like, and it's like, it's just the stuff he say to me. It's just so evil and just straightforward and I don't even know, like, what I really, like, God really was showing me was that it's not even me. It's the light in me that's driving out the darkness in him. And he can't even stand to be around me because of what is inside of him. And I'm up against something I don't even know how to fight against,
Yeah, that was kind of similar to, well, for me, it wasn't a thing of I didn't know how to fight. It was a thing of I didn't believe it was going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like the enemy operates in subtlety. You know what I'm saying? It's little things here and there to make you think, was I, am I crazy? You know what I'm saying? To get you to thinking. But it was about 6 months in before I realized, like, dog, I am not crazy. This fucking woman is doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bed, seeing shadowy figures standing over the bed. I got her spirit spouse attacking me physically. And I'm like, no, like, something ain't right. Now, I've always heard stories of what my auntie did, what my mother did, what my grandma did, what they casted out. But I had never had, like, my own personal story. You know what I'm saying? And when I met that girl, Shawty took me down through there. So
you made me open up my eyes on so many levels, because even hearing that, when you spiritually connected to stuff, even when you don't want to believe something, there's some truth in it. And that's what I was getting. And then I started to get into the point where I want to go and research witchcraft, but I know the type of person I am. I know my limits because I be done got so wrapped up in it, I'll probably end up over here doing it. So I can't really, I can't really do that because some people just ain't strong enough, and I know my limits. So I was like, don't lose yourself trying to go in and try to study this stuff. So I just never really had nobody to talk to it about. Like, I've been on a burning room. To this day, I still don't understand what that was about. Like, every corner of the room was on fire. And the only reason I woke up is because the smoke from the fire woke me up, but it wasn't even a real fire. And then the day after that, I walked over a snake that I didn't even see there. Like, it was just right there in the past. So I was trying to make sense of it. I was like, a fire, that means to leave. So right after that, I left. I moved to States. I still don't really understand, but I know that when I left, I was really, really trying to get more spiritual than where I was, because God was doing stuff in my life that I knew it was Him. But at the same time, I had a lot of distractions too, that would come up against whatever I was trying to do. And I just feel like that relationship right there is really, it was the turning point of my spiritual journey. Like, that pushed me back to God. Like, I didn't have a relationship with Him before because of that, but it had got so bad to the point where He had isolated everybody away from me that I didn't have nobody to go to but God. So I started to just go to Him slowly and tell Him stuff and just talk to Him. And it was from that point that I started to. So for that relationship, I am grateful, because I wouldn't have been in no relationship with God right now. But at the same time, it did a number on me. Like, I still am dealing with stuff. I'm still very, like, if I see the color of His car ride by me, I get nervous, because it's like, when I'm around Him, I'm a whole nother person that I don't even know. I start to experience anger that I have no control over. And that's dangerous, because you don't never know what you can do to somebody. And I'm much smaller than Him. So I automatically have to be defensive. And it's like, it just be, my spirit just, I don't know, like, it got to the point where I didn't even see the person in Him no more. Looking in His eyes, it was nothing there. It was just black. And I was like, something ain't right with this man. Like, something is not right, because it ain't no spirit, there ain't nothing there. It's just, and I would be asleep. Like, I had started I praying Psalms 91 over my oil, put it in my house. And whenever I would put it in the house, I would do it when he would leave. I would try to run real quick and just throw it where I could throw it. And so I remember I threw it in the bedroom one night, and I was like getting ready to sleep. I was asleep. And out of nowhere, he just charged at the bed. It, like, coming up at me like he was ready to fight. And I was like, what the? Like, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, what is going on? Then I said, oh, shoot, I put that oil in here today. So in my natural mind, I'm like, I ain't never going to do that again. And that's what the devil wanted. I was like, I ain't going to never do that again, because of it's getting him riled up like that, and he charging at me over this. I'm just not going to do that no more. Then my aunt was like, they'll let you know it's working. She said, you need to do it even more. So it was just scary being in that apartment, boy, because I never knew what was going to trigger him, I couldn't look at him a certain way. It was just so bad. And it's like, I was in my Bible one night. He walked by laughing. He was just laughing at me, because he was like, you don't understand it. He was like, you trying to get in that Bible and all that. But he would call me the demon. And I'm like, I'm not the demon. You the one that's, I started to feel like I was losing my mind. And I was like, this the type of stuff I can't even go to nobody with, because they gonna think I'm crazy if I tell them half of the stuff I've been seeing, I've been hearing, he be doing. So I really was just really, I had made myself really small, and I was just like, I didn't know what to do, who to go to, or nothing. Because the laws in North Carolina really don't protect you. They was just like, he can leave for 24 hours and come back. And I said, then I'm going to be on the news somewhere. I was just talking to them crazy, because in my mind, I'm like, you basically telling this man in front of himself that he can do anything he want to do and just leave for 24 hours and come back. He going to be done killed me in here, because I done called the police on him. So it was just that. Then he started to do stuff with the child, like running off with him, and it was just the craziest thing. And then I had prayed one day, and he saw me, and I saw him, but I was acting like I did, because I was just real nervous. He just brought the baby up to me and gave him to me, and just like them 49 days never happened. It was weird. It was weird. And now, even to this day, he had him for 49 days.
And you know what? With him,
I didn't know where he was. That was in the same city. But what happened, his daughter flew in town and we was driving around looking for him. And one day we just happened to find the car. She was like, okay, we finna go over here. He was bagged up in the place. Called the police. They was like, it ain't nothing we can do. They was like, if this is the dad, if he don't want to give you this child, we can't make him give you the child. And I was like,
I done been there. I done been there, been in jail behind it and everything.
That's some crazy mess,
North Carolina
boy.
ain't worth a fuck.
Nah, and I was like, if I was in Georgia, I'd have had my baby the same night because you not even on the birth certificate. You ain't even on the birth. And they was like, well, if you've established that relationship that he's the dad, then we take it as he's the dad. And I'm just like, this why so many women end up dead in North Carolina and men too, because y'all don't have nothing to protect them. It ain't nothing up there to protect them.
My baby mama took my son away from me when he was 3, and I didn't see him for 4 years.
What?
I didn't know where they were, didn't know what state. When I text her, she would tease me saying, sending me pictures of him saying that, you'll never see him again and things like that. And I went to court, and they ended up, I think it's countersuing to get a restraining order on me from seeing my son. Now, of course, it didn't go through. The judge was like, I can't, you can't stop this man from seeing his child. You trying to get a restraining order on him from seeing his child?
Right.
But I still had to pay a lawyer. And I burned through more than $10,000.
See.
I was on trial for 2 years for that mess. In North Carolina, all I did was spend $10,000. They took my fucking guns. Because when somebody put a restraining order on you, even if it don't go through, the police come to your house and collect all your firearms in the event that you are a potential hazard. They took all my guns, all my bullets. And when I beat the case and I tried to go back, the DA, he was bitter that he lost the case. He told me that if you open this case back up to try to get your guns, I'm going to reopen the case and I'm going to make sure you get burned this time.
What?
Yeah.
And they was telling me, my clients was like, girl, this is a cricket state. I would not try to open up no case up here because you're going to be stuck up here. It's a 50-50 state. All this stuff new to me. That's crazy. Yeah, and it's like, it's so crazy because when I went, and I don't know nothing about Department of Justice because in Georgia, it's not like that. It's like they send you there for everything. So I was like, well, can I get a restraining order on him? He got my baby. In my mind, I'm thinking the restraining order will release the baby to me and it'll be against him. They was like, well, have he hit you in the last 48 hours? It's like, y'all want me to provoke this man to hit. What do you mean if he hit me in the last 48 hours? I told you I haven't seen my baby in a week. So you know he hasn't hit me. It's like you want me to provoke him to hit me or to do something in order for y'all to do something. It was crazy, and it's like I don't know how I'm gonna do another year of that because like I'm the type of person when I go through something like that somewhere, I don't want no parts with that place or nothing. Somebody'll been gonna hurt me because ain't no way it's just that deep. I just didn't think it was just that deep. And I even had a best friend that was letting me know like her life was bad and she was getting ready to turn to witchcraft. And as her friend, I didn't really know what to say in the moment because I'm like, dang, do that mean I'm gonna have to like cut her off because I know witchcraft is bad and like, or what do I do in the moment? But that I've talked to her, it seemed like now she even closer to God, like, so that worked out. But like my story, like some of the stuff that I went through, most people would have lost their mind because you forget how that term is thrown around, but people do really lose their mind. Like, we be playing like, lose my mind or something, but that is really a true term. Like, people really do lose their mind. And then imagine going through something so traumatic and still having to show up for your kids every day when you can't even show up for yourself. And it's like, it was nobody but God, like, because I had little bit. And then my youngest, well, at the time, my oldest, he was 5 at the time, and something had happened, and he was like, Mom, it wasn't funny, but he was like, Mom, we need to go back home. He said, because this man is going to kill you. And he was 5. Said it directly through to me, and it did something to me too. Like, it just, and I'm like, this is a baby. Like, God was using my kids to speak to me. People was coming to me in my dreams telling me stuff. My uncle in jail was reaching out to his wife to tell me he was having dreams about me and stuff going on that I hadn't even told him. Because mind you, I'm jumping on the phone every time he leaves, trying to save the little relationships that I did have left. because all the people he knew meant something to me, he had already ran them out of my life, calling them, telling them stuff about me, telling them I'm losing my mind. But in the midst of that, to him that might have looked like me losing my mind, but I just lost my grandmother. This was the woman that raised me there. So however that looked to you, like, I'm trying to grieve. I still haven't grieved that. That happened in 2018 because I'm trying to defend my character, because he calling back to Georgia telling people I'm losing my mind up there. And they calling me and I'm like, y'all forgot I just lost basically like my mother. Like, I'm not even in my 30s yet. And I've lost somebody that really was there for me. Like, so however that may look, on top of you being abusive, and at the time, it's just like, I didn't know financial abuse existed. I never had even heard of that term. And I have a sister that can witness, anytime I got paid anything, he was right there looking, going through all my stuff. Like, I never knew that existed, because I'm the type of person that once I like you, and I think that's a downfall too, once I like you, I'm willing to do anything, like, to keep you happy. And it's like, I think that's a lot of people downfalls too, because you can lose yourself in people.
So, if you had to give advice to anybody regarding your situation, what would it be?
I would say take your signs and your red flags, like, when they reveal themselves to you the first time, because a lot of times we tend to feel like maybe we're overthinking when we see stuff. And I feel like when we proceed and we allow things that we know are not right, and we get those signs, we just allow worse to happen. So I would say believe a person the first, for who they show you they are the first time. Heal, allow yourself time to heal. And I would also say get around people that genuinely care for you, because in most of these situations we ruin a lot of friendships, relationships with people because of the isolation. So they run everybody off. I would say just try to go back for those friendships and those relationships that you have, and just believe it for what it is the first time. Don't allow anything else to happen.
Okay, I can dig that. I can dig that.
Okay, and you have a good day, okay?
All right, for sure, you too.